At the start of the story, we see a small house perched on top of a mountain deep within a dense forest. A man named William lives there by himself. He has been staying in this remote wilderness for several months while working on his research. One day, however, a snake suddenly bites him. Terrified that the venom will spread throughout his body, William panics. In the chaos, his phone slips from his hands and tumbles down the mountainside, leaving him with no way to call for help. Desperate to survive, he attempts to cut his own hand to remove the venom, then rushes inside the house and drinks as much water as he can. Before long, William loses consciousness. When he finally wakes up, he begins suffering from constant hallucinations as the remaining venom continues affecting his mind. He spends the next several days in a weakened state, drifting in and out of awareness. One day, he hears a helicopter outside and realizes that a group of scientists has arrived at his cabin. They knock on the door, apparently hoping to take him with them. Perhaps some kind of emergency has occurred in the outside world, but William is too weak to make any sound. Believing no one is inside, the scientists eventually leave. Several more days pass before the last effects of the venom finally fade away, and William begins feeling healthy again. Although there may still be traces of venom left in his system, he is well enough to drive. He gets into his car and heads back toward the city. However, when he arrives, he is left completely stunned. The entire city looks different. Not a single living person can be seen anywhere. Streets are littered with debris as though a catastrophic disaster has swept through the area. Even more horrifying, thousands of vehicles sit abandoned on the roads, and every person inside them is dead. As William tries to make sense of the nightmare around him, he notices a road sign that explains everything. Several days earlier, a deadly virus had spread across the globe. The infection moved so rapidly that it wiped out nearly all of humanity within a very short time. Governments collapsed, laws disappeared, and civilization came to an abrupt end. William returns to his family home only to discover that his parents also died during the outbreak. Struggling to accept the devastating reality, he spends time mourning them before digging graves near the house and laying them to rest. As the days go by, William comes to the painful realization that he appears to be the only living person left in the city. Even so, he refuses to believe humanity is completely gone and hopes that somewhere there are still people who are immune to the virus. Carrying a gun and gathering supplies for protection, he sets out for Las Vegas. The main bridge leading out of the city is blocked, forcing him to take a much longer route. After a difficult journey, he finally reaches Las Vegas, only to find that it is just as empty. There are no people anywhere. The massive casinos and luxury hotels stand abandoned and silent. Eventually, William grows exhausted and decides to stay in one of the famous hotels. Since money no longer has any meaning, he begins helping himself to expensive wine and other luxuries. The following night, however, he receives an unexpected surprise when he encounters two other survivors named Milton and Anne. Like William, they somehow escaped infection. They explain that they have been spending their days moving between expensive hotels and enjoying whatever comforts remain. Milton shows William the final television broadcast ever aired. In it, scientists admit that they were unable to develop a cure for the virus. Soon afterward, civil wars erupted around the world as people fought desperately over medicine and supplies. Within days, nearly everyone either died from the disease itself or from the violence that followed. William also learns that Milton and Anne have not seen another living person since the outbreak began, making him the first survivor they have encountered. This realization makes it clear that the number of people still alive on Earth must be incredibly small. As William spends more time with them, he notices that prolonged isolation has taken a serious toll on their mental health. Anne reveals that she watched her husband and child die during a video call, a traumatic experience that shattered her desire to keep living. William remains with them in the luxurious hotel for several days. Although designer clothes and expensive possessions are available everywhere for free, none of it brings him any happiness. To him, it feels as though the value of all these brands vanished along with humanity itself. Milton admits that before the outbreak, he was a highly successful businessman who earned enormous wealth. Now, however, all of that success means nothing because his fame, fortune, and family are gone. He then reveals that he carries a gun so the three of them can use it to end their lives. Hearing this, William becomes alarmed. Unlike them, he still wants to survive. He quickly walks away from the conversation, but moments later he hears a gunshot behind him. Milton and Anne have chosen to take their own lives, leaving William completely alone once again. The experience convinces him that he may truly be the last human being left on Earth. Overwhelmed, he drives away from the city at high speed. Along the way, he comes across a dog and decides to keep it as his companion, naming it Lucky. Afterward, he visits a library, gathers survival books, and returns to his old mountain house. There, he begins building a new life with Lucky. The food remaining in nearby stores can sustain them for a long time, and eventually they can grow crops for themselves. Time continues to pass, and before long, an entire year goes by. During that period, William and Lucky develop a deep bond. Even so, life without other people becomes painfully boring. To keep himself occupied, William spends his days jogging, swimming, and finding random ways to pass the time. At one point, he even drives his car around in circles, simply to break the monotony. Then one day, everything changes. Lucky suddenly begins barking furiously while staring toward a distant house. When William notices smoke rising from it, he immediately drives over to investigate. There, he discovers a young woman standing on the roof with a gun pointed at him. Her name is Emma, and she is also a survivor. William tells her everything about himself, and after listening carefully, Emma becomes convinced that he is not a threat. As they talk, they realize that neither of them has seen another living person for an entire year. William shares the story of everything he has been through, while Emma tells him about her own struggle to survive. She explains that she only arrived in the area the previous day and believed no one else was still alive there. After they spend some time talking, William prepares to leave, but before he can go, Emma stops him and says, "Stay here tonight. It's been so long since I've seen another living person," Emma says. William agrees, and afterward he brings her back to his house. Since he had been living alone for so long, he never bothered keeping the place organized, and everything is a mess. Together, they begin cleaning and repairing the house. There is a nearby grocery store, so they make trips there and gather plenty of food supplies. This unexpected meeting gives both of them a renewed reason to keep living. Soon they begin sharing daily routines, waking up together and taking care of different tasks around the property. To avoid boredom, they each develop hobbies and activities to fill their time. At the same time, they both realize that if they truly are the last man and woman on Earth, then the responsibility of rebuilding humanity may rest entirely on their shoulders. Meanwhile, with people gone, wild animals have started roaming freely through cities. As time passes, William installs solar panels around the house, making it more self-sufficient and secure. A few months later, Emma becomes pregnant. She is overjoyed by the news, but William feels conflicted. He wonders whether bringing a child into a post-apocalyptic world is the right thing to do. More importantly, he worries about how the delivery will happen without doctors or hospitals. Determined to prepare, he begins studying books on childbirth and infant care from the library. Over time, their home becomes safer and more capable of supporting a family. The solar panels allow them to store food in refrigerators, and they start raising chickens and cows for a steady supply of eggs and milk. Nearby lies a large green field, and with humanity gone, the air has become cleaner and fresher than ever before. However, another problem soon emerges. The rat population in the surrounding area begins growing rapidly, and eventually the rodents start invading their property. At first, they try burning garbage around the house to keep the rats away, but it has little effect. When that fails, they seal the entire house to protect themselves. One evening, Emma tells William that they will eventually find a solution to the rat problem, and that for now, she wants to focus on the joy of their upcoming child. In the following weeks, William travels far away and brings back several cats, which successfully reduced the rat population in the area. Eventually, the long-awaited day arrives when Emma goes into labor. They have spent months preparing for this moment. With William's help, she safely gives birth to a healthy baby girl. Afterward, the couple travels into the city and paints their address in highly visible locations, so that if any other survivors ever pass through, they will know where to find them. Time continues moving forward, and 6 years pass. One day, while driving home, William's vehicle collides with a tiger crossing the road. As he examines the animal, he suddenly notices a young girl nearby. The moment she sees him, she becomes frightened and starts running away. William catches up to her and gently asks her to come back with him to his house, but she is terrified. To gain her trust, he offers her an apple. Once she sees the apple, she begins to believe he means no harm. Eventually, she climbs into his vehicle and accompanies him home. There we discover that William and Emma now have 2 children. 2 years after the birth of their daughter, they had a son named Alex, and Emma is currently pregnant with their 3rd child. Perhaps these 2 survivors are the very people who will one day repopulate the world. Fortunately, the address they painted throughout the city eventually serves its purpose. 2 more survivors arrive at their home. However, the young girl remains so frightened that she refuses to get out of the truck. Nobody pressures her. Instead, they allow her to stay inside the vehicle throughout the night. The next morning, when Marina approaches with food, the girl suddenly lashes out and tries to attack her. Marina remains calm and shares her own story. She explains that she and George spent years traveling from place to place searching for other survivors, and eventually discovered William's address written throughout the city. During their conversation, Marina gently convinces the girl to enter the house and take a bath. Later, while looking through the girl's belongings, Marina discovers several disturbing drawings inside her bag. She also finds a letter addressed to someone named Evie. Marina shows the letter to everyone, explaining that it was written by Evie's mother. The letter asks whoever finds Evie to care for her. It reveals that after the virus outbreak, Evie's father began physically abusing her, leaving her deeply traumatized and fearful of everyone around her. Eventually, Evie's mother killed her father and told Evie to run away somewhere safe. After learning her heartbreaking story, the group welcomes Evie as one of their own. Not long afterward, Emma gives birth to her third child, a son named Sam. Their growing family becomes even larger. For the next year, everyone lives together peacefully and happily. Then one day, they receive a signal indicating that someone else is approaching. Immediately, all the children are sent inside the house, while the adults arm themselves and go investigate. They soon discover another group of survivors who found their location after seeing Emma's address in the city. The group consists of Molly, Jean, Ezra, and their son Rafe. William's family welcomes them into the house. Molly explains that during the past 8 years, they have encountered only 4 other living people. They never had a permanent home and spent their lives constantly wandering from place to place. Emma tells them that they no longer have to live that way, because this can now be their home too. There is plenty of food and space, and together they can begin building a new society. The best part is that Molly is a doctor, which proves incredibly valuable. If anyone becomes injured or sick, they finally have access to medical care. The following day, William explains the community's rules to the newcomers. He tells them that because so few humans remain, wild animals frequently roam both the forests and the city. For that reason, anyone gathering supplies must always carry a weapon and never travel alone. Afterward, everyone heads into the city to collect useful resources. Since there is a hospital nearby, Molly gathers a large supply of medicine and medical equipment. Once they have everything they need, the group returns home. Jean happens to be a talented singer, and that evening she performs a song for everyone. She is also the mother of Ezra's child. At the same time, George and Marina slowly reconnect and grow closer after years of hardship. During the following months, both Jean and Marina give birth to baby girls. In this way, 14 years gradually pass. By now, their community has grown into a large extended family. Today, they are celebrating the birthday of William and Emma's eldest daughter. William spends much of his time teaching all the children about the old world. He tells them how Earth once held billions of people, how society functioned, how people behaved, and what lessons they should carry into the future. He continues educating them so they can preserve humanity's knowledge. One day, however, a powerful storm strikes the area. During the chaos, William suddenly realizes that their dog Lucky is missing. He rushes outside to search for him and discovers the heartbreaking truth. Lucky has been crushed beneath a fallen tree and died. Both William and Emma are devastated. Long before Emma entered William's life, Lucky had been the companion who helped him survive his darkest days. To honor him, they bury Lucky in their garden and recognize him as the very first member of their community. Sometime later, while William is watching the children play outside, a tiger suddenly enters the garden. Without hesitation, he places himself between the animal and the children. Before anyone can intervene, the tiger attacks him, leaving him severely injured before running away. The entire group rushes to save him. William loses a tremendous amount of blood, but thanks to Molly's medical skills and the medicines they collected, he survives. Meanwhile, Emma tracks the tiger through the wilderness and eventually kills it to ensure it never threatens the community again. A few weeks later, William has recovered enough to resume his daily activities. By now, 17 years have passed since the collapse of civilization, and all the children have grown older. William spends much of his time teaching his sons, Alex and Sam, important survival skills. At the same time, Ezra's older son, Rafe, has developed strong feelings for William's daughter. The two spend nearly all of their time together. Eventually, they announce to their families that they want to leave and explore the world on their own. Everyone understands that the future of humanity may depend on the younger generation building families of their own, so nobody objects. The community provides them with weapons, food, and water before sending them on their journey. A few days later, another serious problem arises. The settlement begins experiencing a shortage of water. While investigating a nearby dumping site, they discover that many local water sources are drying up. Since humanity disappeared, weather patterns have changed dramatically, and rain has not fallen for months. Water scarcity is quickly becoming a major threat. Then one day they spot a vehicle approaching from a distance. The site confirms that there are still other survivors somewhere in the world. The group immediately returns home and warns everyone that these strangers could potentially be dangerous and might attempt to take over their settlement. The newcomers are led by a man named Charlie. He explains that his group is searching for oil. They possess specialized drilling equipment and offer a deal. Using their machinery, they can drill underground and install a hand pump, providing William's community with a reliable water source. In exchange, Charlie asks for gasoline so his group can continue traveling to distant regions hundreds of miles away. Since water has become such a serious problem, William's group agrees. After all, they have large amounts of stored fuel and very little use for it. With the agreement in place, Charlie and his people begin drilling at a suitable location. Since the drilling process is expected to take several days, Charlie and his group remain camped out in their van nearby. As the days pass, however, William begins to realize that Charlie is not a good man. From the stories and conversations he overhears, it becomes clear that Charlie once killed numerous survivors to steal their resources. After learning this, William privately warns the others to be cautious around him and to strengthen security around their home. Emma believes there is no reason to panic because Charlie's group will leave once the drilling is complete. The work continues for the next few days, and after 4 days of effort, they finally strike water underground. Everyone celebrates the success. William tells Charlie that their agreement has been fulfilled and that he can now take all the gasoline he was promised and continue on his way. That evening, the entire community celebrates together. Even so, William cannot shake the feeling that Charlie is dangerous and may not leave as easily as he claims. Later that night, while everyone is asleep, William suddenly hears a scream coming from outside. He rushes out and spots Charlie leaving one of the rooms while his friend Silas stands nearby, keeping watch and ready to warn him if anyone approaches. William immediately enters the room and finds Evie in tears. Charlie has assaulted her. Furious, William gathers the rest of the group and tells them what happened. The others reveal that Charlie's people are heavily armed and that they overheard him saying he has no intention of leaving the settlement. William says that if that is true, then Charlie must be stopped. He refuses to stand by and watch members of his family be victimized. Today it happened to Evie, but tomorrow it could happen to someone else. Although everyone agrees Charlie is dangerous, they also point out that so few humans remain alive that taking a life feels wrong. William explains that if they allow Charlie to stay, none of them will ever be safe. In the end, the group agrees that removing Charlie is the only option and hopes the rest of his people will not seek revenge. Following a carefully planned strategy, they surround Charlie during the night without alerting his group. Before anyone realizes what is happening, William kills him. The act leaves William deeply shaken because it is the first time he has ever taken a human life, but he believes he did it to protect his family. The next morning, William's group speaks to Charlie's companions. They tell them not to seek revenge and explain that they are welcome to remain there as long as they live peacefully and contribute to the community. If they choose not to stay, they are free to leave forever. Most of Charlie's former companions decide to remain with the settlement, but Silas is furious. He hates William because, from his perspective, his best friend was attacked and killed without warning. Many fear that Silas could become a threat in the future. Charlie's former followers admit that they always knew Charlie was a bad leader. He abused his authority and mistreated women within his own group as well, so they are relieved that he is gone. Silas is the only person mourning Charlie's death, and because of his hostility, William banishes him from the community. Sometime later, Silas attempts to return. Since the rest of his group stayed behind, he finds it impossible to survive on his own. However, William refuses to let him back in because he continued supporting Charlie, despite knowing about his actions. As punishment, Silas is permanently exiled. Time moves on, and eventually 20 years have passed since the collapse of civilization. Without humanity dominating the planet, the Earth has changed dramatically. The younger generation begins working together to build an airplane. William's son proudly explains that they are close to completing it, which will make traveling from the mountain much easier. However, before long, a new crisis emerges. Members of the community begin falling ill one after another. Soon, more than half the settlement is infected with a disease showing the same symptoms as the virus that nearly wiped out humanity 2 decades earlier. Dr. Molly studies the outbreak and explains that while they developed immunity to the original virus, it appears the disease evolved over time. Fortunately, this new strain is less deadly than the first one, and she believes a treatment can be found. Those who remain healthy dedicate themselves to caring for the sick. Among all the patients, William's son Sam is in the worst condition, causing everyone tremendous concern. Around this same time, William's daughter returns home alone. She had left with Rafe to explore the world, but now she arrives without him. She explains everything that happened during their journey. The two of them traveled across distant regions, searching for other survivors. They explored countless cities, towns, and abandoned homes, yet found no living people anywhere. One day, while camping on a mountainside, They spotted a lone man in the distance and decided to follow him. The stranger eventually disappeared. Later, he suddenly appeared behind them and held a knife to Rafe's throat. To their shock, the man turned out to be Silas, the very person William had banished years earlier. Consumed by revenge, Silas murdered Rafe. William's daughter desperately tried to help him, but without immediate medical treatment, there was nothing she could do. Rafe died from his injuries. She buried him beneath a tree before beginning the long journey home alone. Along the way, her vehicle ran out of fuel, forcing her to walk the remaining distance. When she finally arrives, she discovers that most of the community has been infected by the new virus. Although this strain is not as deadly as the original, Molly works tirelessly to treat everyone. To lower Sam's dangerously high fever, she repeatedly places him in cold water. One by one, the others begin recovering after taking Molly's medicine, but Sam shows no improvement. After sharing an emotional final conversation with his parents, Sam dies. The loss devastates the entire community. In addition to Sam, 3 other members also lose their lives. William is completely shattered by the tragedy. Emma comforts him, reminding him that there was a time when they had absolutely nothing except each other. Now they have an entire community and a future generation that will carry humanity forward. Encouraged by her words, William finds the strength to continue and dedicates himself to preparing the children for the future. One morning, he climbs to the top of the mountain and watches the sunrise. As he looks across the transformed world, he reflects on how much everything has changed over the past 20 years. When he returns home, he gathers the younger generation and delivers an important speech. He tells them that until now, they have been trying to rebuild the old world, but that approach is wrong because the old world no longer exists. The planet has changed, and humanity must change with it. From now on, they must learn to live alongside nature rather than trying to recreate the past. Nature itself will teach them how to survive in this new climate and this new era. Inspired by this vision, the community begins building a new future. They reactivate radio communications to reconnect with any remaining survivors. They establish a functioning society of their own and organize social gatherings so the children understand the importance of human connection and community. They even renovate nearby cities to better suit the needs of this new world. Gradually, another 50 years pass. In the final scene, an elderly William sits with his grandson and explains that this new human civilization was built from their family's bloodline and the people who stood beside them. He tells the boy that the responsibility of carrying humanity forward now belongs to the next generation. And with that powerful message, the movie comes to an end.